Greetings and salutations, man. It's been a long time since I've uploaded a video. I've passively been playing uh, a little bit of I shouldn't say passively a little bit of Atlas. It's kind of a love hate thing because they've been the developers are now back in, and Redbeard's been doing a fantastic job re-implementing some of the updates and fixes that have needed to take place in the game that have been broken for a long, long time. But I'm gonna, I'm gonna kind of have some active discussions in this video that are really meant for the development team, and they're not digs. They're not digs on the development. It's just kind of to develop a holistic, um, kind of like bottom up refinement. Top down, bottom up refinement thought process. So maybe a little bit of a ramble, but it's just kind of shape a picture, because I got nearly what do I have? Well, let me alt tab and see what I got. 1,400 hours. I got 1,400 hours of gameplay in just in Atlas, and another 1,600 plus in Conan Exiles, and then a couple hundred in Ark. And so I definitely have some experience in this genre of survival based, Unreal Engine, game engine, um, gameplay mechanic, expectation of engine, uh, what they're capable of. You know what I mean. So one of the things that I realize is, you have your legacy boats, and then you have your new modular boats. I actually like the new modular boats, but one thing that I recognize is that the new modular boats is that you can tell that they're just cut and paste versions of themselves, and they just extend them. They're like, oh, we're going to cut them in half and add another subsection, and then cut them in half, or cut them in a third and then add one. So they've modulated them to such an extent to where um, so you when you end up with the broadside, you end up with the exact same boat as the cog. They've just extended it 7 tiles, 7 modules out. And the problem with that is I think really that's a design mistake, because really they need to make a small module, a medium module, and a heavy module, and and then modulate them. And so your small modules, you'll have 2 or 3 ships that fall in your small module, like the transport, the cog, and the carrack, right? And then you're going to have a medium module, which will be two panels wide in the middle, because right now they're all 1 panel wide in the middle with a staircase that goes down. And I can show the example of that, and that'll lead into my other secondary. Oh, I think I got a little frame drop. That's weird. I shouldn't have any frame drop on OBS. Um, I shouldn't. It should be a seamless experience. My CPU is not. That's very weird. Is my graphics card. Interesting. Anyways, this video is more about the discussion and not about the visual. Um, and so the other aspect of it is that, the module piece, and I also recognize when you have the boats, the module boats versus the legacy boats. As you're going through the ocean on the legacy boats, and the tide let's say it's coming from your left to your right, that the mass will sway left, I mean right, and then go back left, and so it gives that immersion. And with the module boats, it's just straight up in the air, and it's like it's disconnected from the ocean. It's just a static item that sits in the water. Where legacy boats, you'll see it swaying in the water a little bit, and I think that's where, when they talk about the legacy boats are like 500 times more server dependent, that actually might be a part of why the legacy boats have more server load, is because they're more connected to what the water's doing in their interaction with the water, not their construction themselves. Also, the module boats have no defense mechanisms, and it's super frustrating. I've been killed off multiple times because like the beauty about the legacy boats is you can place guys these swivel mounts and um, crew members on your swivel mounts, and if someone gets on your boat, your grape shot, swivel mounts and grape shot will blast them, and it's problem solved. And but there's no way to do any of that on the modular system. So you've kind of baked in some modular systems mechanics right out of the gate. And so I would think, as a recommendation, I would add at least one or two hard points on the module ships for some swivel cannons going forward. Maybe right there on the side where the top where you have maybe you put the swivel cannon mount. There's all that open space usually where the wheel is on the top there. Just have the ability to snap, in each corner or somewhere in the middle there, a swivel cannon mount, and I think that would improve the gameplay significantly, or add more um, flexibility for those ship modules going forward. And then actively start thinking about maybe kind of your module set as a small and large, or not so much a small and large, but like a 1.0 and a 2.0 chassis. And your 2.0 chassis would be like your brig and your galleon replacement modules, and your 1.0 would be your cog and your carrack, which would replace your sloop and your schooner modules, right? So that way, instead of just extending these boats out 39 tiles or 70 tiles to where they just look like giant ocean, oil tankers in the ocean, and they start to develop these really weird mechanics, and it's just super wonky. It loses its immersion because they're like these they look like bread rolls, and it's just weird. It's funky, and it's just weird. And something else that I would like to see is um, how you have I know they're talking about making these ships to where they're more immersive. I would definitely like to see, right now where they have the stairs, I would like the ability have the staircase deletable, and just be able to apply a hatch and a staircase, and that's it. I mean, you don't have to go super crazy. Like the way it is now is pretty good. It's pretty good. You don't need to add the customization that some folks were talking about in the forum. Just the ability to lock the subfloors. And another big issue with and I realize that Redbeard and the developers are probably aware of this, is when you sync the module ships, 90% of the time you're not able to get to what's inside of them, um, because when they sync, they flip upside down and they roll around, and there's no way to to get um, to get through the holes, right? They're permanently locked in. So once they sink in, those panels need to be able to be deleted the same way that legacy ships need to be deleted. You need to be able to like right click on them and say, delete, or like salvage. You need to be able to start salvaging those titles through the mouse menu, because there's lots of times we've gone through very rigid battles, and our prize is we've lost our prize due to kind of shitty gameplay mechanics because of the holes. And something else that I would like to have brought back is this construct where, on the legacy ships, as panels got damaged, they would change colors. I liked that better than holes being in the ship. I even though the holes is more immersive, I like that system much better. And so if we could implement that color change back in, uh, maybe in addition to the holes being in the ship. Uh, I did like that color change a lot. And these are just some feedback points that so I think a lot of times forum discussion bullets and all the just talking are lost, and so I just prefer to do a general video with some talking points. And it's been forever since I've done a video. I'm gonna have to do a restart. I don't know why my OBS is doing. Let me see if it's still frame skipping. Yeah, it's still doing a little bit of frame skipping. Usually when it's doing frame skipping like that, it's because the CPU is maxed out. Um, yeah, that's weird. Okay. As always, thanks for watching.